Early in March 2020, the government confirmed its first case of COVID-19 within its borders, and immediately after, it went to set about recommendations that should be adhered by the public in a bid to curb the spread of COVID-19 within its borders. So some of the recommendations that were set included use of masks within public spaces, sanitizing of hands, frequent hand washing as well. So these were some of the recommendations that were set by the government in a bid to curb the spread of COVID-19 within Kenya. Now, months down the line, since masks have been a recommended tool in regards to stopping the spread of COVID-19, the same are now identified to cause a litter problem within the environment. So the same masks that are being used are identified to have plastics. So without proper disposal alternatives of the same, then they're left to create a litter problem within our environment. The plastics that are within the masks are identified to last within the environment for centuries. So the same cause problems for wildlife, human, and the vegetation as well. So without addressing this litter problem, or rather without addressing irresponsible dumping of masks, then slowly by slowly we are seeing that the same will cause an environmental crisis even in the near future, hence the need to address proper disposal of masks after use. The following risk communication campaign aims to sensitize against irresponsible dumping of masks in a bid to safeguard the environment as a whole. The first step in our communication campaign is risk analysis, and this basically means understanding the risk and the impact that it has on a larger scale. So for this particular case, it shall be better to understand impact of risk or impact of masks within the environment and the dangers that it poses within the ecosystem. So masks are known to contain plastics, and once the plastics are released within the environment, they are known to last for centuries, and this poses risk for vegetation, wildlife, and even humans as well, because again they are known to last within the environment for centuries. So without addressing this challenge, the wrongful or rather irresponsible disposal of mass within the environment, then this poses dangers within the ecosystem and the environment at large. So on finalizing your risk analysis and understanding the dangers that are there in regards to irresponsible dumping of masks and identifying the need to address the same, then we move on to setting objectives of the campaign. So for this specific campaign, the main objective is to sensitize the public on safer disposal alternatives of masks, and also to sensitize the duty bearers and the stakeholders to also address this particular issue and encourage the public to take up safer alternatives while looking to dispose their masks as well. So upon completing the objectives of the campaign, then we'll move on to the messaging of the campaign. So for this particular campaign, we'll aim to tailor make our messages and have the same take up a fear appeal approach. So our messages will have that fear appeal in a bid to motivate audiences to take up action in a bid to curb irresponsible dumping of masks. The messages will also be precise in a bit to also just share the same messages, the same message, with the audience in a way they're able to understand. And the messages again will have a strong repetitive statements that will again aim to make sure that the messages are well understood by our audiences, and the same audiences are also able to take up the same message and act upon the same that has been communicated to them. Upon drafting of the messages, the next will be understanding the channels for communication, or rather the channels that will be used in relaying the messages to the audience. So the first communication channel that will be considered for this particular campaign will be the use of television or and TV, television, sorry, or radio, and these are broadcast media. So these particular channels of communications have been selected in a bid to reach out to larger audiences, or rather larger masses, so that the message is able to be understood and accessed by many. And the same will also provide an opportunity to even local people to understand the same using their local language. So the messages will also be tailor-made in the various local dialects, and allow more people to access the same message and be able to act on the same.